Welcome to this section, which is case studies with me. In this section, I'm going to show you the real-world implementation of ChatGPT for YouTube that I am doing. So the next lessons will be specific things showing you a different approach, similar to what Dan has taught you, but with my own twist, and showing you exactly how I'm having success using these methods. The next lesson is super exciting because I'm going to show you how I'm increasing my views, my watch time, my click-through rate by using ChatGPT to help with titles. So I'll show you that in the next lesson, and I'll be adding more case studies over time as well. So enjoy these case studies. In this video, I want to show you how I tripled my click-through rate using ChatGPT. So first I'm going to show you the results and then walk you through the entire process of what I did. And it's a repeatable, replicable process that you can do right now. So here on the screen, what you're looking at is a view of the analytics from my YouTube channel. Now let me walk you through because it is kind of confusing. This is showing all of the videos that I've posted since the beginning of January 2022. This line here is showing the click-through rate, which is one of the most important metrics on YouTube. It's basically showing how many times did someone see your video thumbnail or title and click through to your video. Notice that in the beginning, it's a very, very low click-through rate. This is typical average click-through rate for me. 1%, 1.5%. All of a sudden, though, in May, April and May, it jumps up to 3.7%, 2.2, 3.1, 3.0, 2.9, 3.2. In essence, it has tripled. And what does this result in? This results in lots more views, lots more watch time, lots more subscribers. So, and you can see here the total impressions is just under 3 million for these specific videos. And so in essence, by tripling our click-through rate, or even doubling if you want to be conservative over the past year, we're getting 2 to 3 times more actual views or increased in watch time. Okay, so that's pretty impressive. What happened here that changed this? I used ChatGPT to update the titles for all of these videos. Again, I'm going to walk you through this entire process, but here we have the original title in the left-hand column, and on the right-hand column, the new title that ChatGPT recommended. And I went through and I changed all of the titles to what ChatGPT recommended for all of my videos published since the beginning of 2022. And that's how we can tell that this experiment is working compared to the rest of my videos. Here is my click-through rate for all of my videos published prior to January 2022. The click-through rate is actually higher, which is great, but we're not getting that same bump that happened in April, May with these newer videos. So let's walk through the entire process of how I did this. First, let me show you the prompt that I used so that if you want to just do this with one video, you can. I will show you how to get a list of all of your YouTube titles to be able to just copy and paste into ChatGPT to do it in a bulk method that I did. But the basic prompt is, you are a YouTube content creator, rewrite these titles to make them more clickable, more SEO friendly, and optimized with keywords. Each title should have one emoji. I just included that to make it more visually interesting and what I assume is more clickable. And I also included in my prompt, this is a list of YouTube titles, because I included a list of all of my YouTube titles. And I did it in a batch of, I believe, like 25 or 50 videos at one time. Actually, I have the whole list. Yeah, almost 45 in this first one. And so then it gave me this list. And then I had it repeat it for the next list and the next list, etc. And you can see that it just repeated this. I asked it to rewrite this list without the numbering and quotation marks so that I can simply copy and paste this. and I copied it and pasted that into an Excel file. And here is this Excel file or Google Sheets file, and I had a column with all of my original names on the left and then all of my new names on the right with the link. And then I just went into my YouTube Studio, and here in YouTube Studio, the easiest way to quickly edit titles in a bulk method is just to click the options button, click edit title and description, and apply, copy and paste, or just paste the new title here and apply it, rather than clicking the details page and going into the back end page and then having to change it and then back out to this page. So you can just click that three little ellipses dots button, click edit title and description. So that's pretty much the process. You just ask ChatGPT to write a new title and then copy and paste it. How do we do it in a bulk method? In the next lesson, I'm including this text here that you can copy and paste. This comes from a YouTuber, Soft Expert. I have to give all credit to him. He created a tutorial on how to actually get all of the YouTube titles and copy and paste them using this method that I'm going to show you now. First, you want to go to your YouTube channel and then click the videos page or the videos tab. Then right click and choose inspect. This works on Google Chrome, Edge, most browsers, but you want to inspect and you want to go down to the console. This is where you're actually going to paste that code. So this first code here, we're going to copy this. And this is in the next lesson if you want to be able to simply copy and paste this. And I'm also including a link to this tutorial as well and the resources of this lesson. Then here where there's the little text box, paste it and enter. Now what's going to happen is this is just opening basically all of these videos on our page. It's scrolling through the channel. And depending on how many videos you have as a channel, it's just going to open it up depending on how fast your internet is. While it's doing that, I'm going to copy this text here, this second code. And I could let this just continue opening, but I'm just going to paste this code to show you. So say it went to the end of your channel or not, I'm going to paste this code and then press return on my keyboard. You can see that it actually removed all the code, and now it has simply the clean title and the URL for all of these videos that it opened. So now I can click in here, scroll up and copy, and then go to a new Google Sheet, to an Excel file, and paste this. And it pastes two columns basically, the URL and the name. If you don't need the URL, you don't need that. I'm gonna delete this row or column. And now we have all of our old titles. And from here, we can just copy and paste a chunk of them, copy the first 20 and paste those into ChatGPT as a list that you want to change using that prompt that we talked about before, which I'll also include in the text of the next lesson so you can simply copy and paste it. So this was an experiment that I did just with videos that I released in the past year or so. I'm going to do this with the rest of my videos because doubling or tripling my views and my impression click-through rate will certainly help my YouTube channel to grow. All right, I hope you enjoyed this case study, and I will see you in the next lesson. In this case study, I'm going to show you how I'm using tools like Midjourney and Adobe Firefly to generate images that I use for YouTube and also within my videos. Here on the screen, you see this photo that we captured for an upcoming photography lighting course that we're putting out. And this is a great photo for the thumbnail or just an example of the style of photography you can capture after taking our course. Except it's not. This is an image that was created with Midjourney using the prompt, a photorealistic image. A photographer takes a portrait of a beautiful woman. They are in a photography studio with multiple camera flashes. This is one example that it resulted in. I changed some of the words to get a different type of background. So this is a photorealistic image, a portrait of a beautiful woman. She sits in a photography studio with multiple camera flashes around her. Behind her is a white textured backdrop. It's kind of scary because this image itself is almost replacing what we do as photographers. Of course, this is an AI person that was generated and not a photo of an actual person that might want their portrait taken, but it's still something that could potentially be used as an example within a class of different styles of lighting. We've got different Rembrandt lighting and backlighting and split tone lighting, styles of lighting you could actually prompt Midjourney to replicate in its artwork. A completely different prompt that I gave was flat 2D digital art of a photography camera and external flash and multiple lighting stands. Midjourney didn't, I tried to get this to be right, but it didn't do an exact response of what I was asking for. I was looking for more of like this 2D flat art, but something I could use as a YouTube thumbnail or again in the branding of the class if I wanted something completely different. You can tell that some of the devices that it recreates, if you just glance at it, looks like photography equipment, but then you look closely and you're like, what the heck is that? But Midjourney did a decent job. You can see that I went through several iterations of these examples. Here was one where I was just trying to get like that photography studio look, which would be actually pretty cool to have this as a background to our actual photographer. So maybe I take a photo of Will, the instructor, I add it to this image and superimpose him here onto that image in Photoshop. That'd be pretty cool. Here are several examples of, so here I was trying to get that flash portrait, but it kept having like images in the background, which is like kind of weird. So that's how I added the prompt for the white paper background or the white textured background. This one I thought was really nice. The lighting and everything looks really beautiful on this photo. So not bad for this one. I also want to show you what Adobe Firefly came up with. So here's a photo example. So here you can see that is pretty dang good. Followed the prompt, I would say more to a T of exactly what I was asking for, of a model sitting there with a white paper backdrop, multiple flashes on either side. This, to be honest, it's really crazy how good these look. And so it did a pretty good job at recreating people and taking flash portraits of people. And in prompting it to do that flat 2D art image of an external flash with lighting stands, I think that it did a better job. Like this middle one looks pretty good. And the thing is that you can always take this, and if you know a little bit of Photoshop, you can take elements of this image and edit it to be exactly what you're looking for. Here's another example. I like this bottom left one of a camera and a flash. That could definitely be used. And then here was the photography studio in that setup. I really like this bottom right one. That looks pretty dang cool. I could totally use that for part of a YouTube thumbnail or even within a class, you know, if I'm doing slides or things like that, this could be really cool. The last thing I want to show you that I used Adobe Firefly for, but you could use any of these tools, is to create textures. So here are all these cool textures that I created, from crumpled paper to film dust and scratches, grunge, halftone dot texture, abstract paintbrush textures, old newspaper textures, paper textures. These are things that you could put together to create a really cool motion graphic style in your videos. I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to do that coming up in the next lesson right within Premiere Pro. So check that out if you're interested in it. But these are textures that you might be able to find some of this stuff for free, or you'd have to pay for some of this high quality stuff on a stock site. And now you can just basically create it from scratch using these AI tools, which is awesome. So I'm going to show you that in the next one of the next lessons. But this is just some ideas for how I would be using Adobe Firefly and Midjourney and these text to image generation tools for my own video creation. All right, see you in another lesson. Check out this really cool paper texture background that I created in Premiere Pro in the matter of minutes using the textures that we downloaded from Adobe Firefly. So this is going to be a little bit advanced if you don't work with Adobe Premiere Pro, but whether you use Premiere Pro or another editing tool, hopefully this will give you a sense of what you can do with these textures to create really dynamic motion graphics or just video design like this. If you are interested in Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects, where you can create these kinds of motion graphics and titles, check out my full courses on those. Just click to my profile. You can find my courses there. Here's what I did to create this animation. There's 3 layers on this timeline. One is just the text itself. So I have 2 text cards for paper texture and using AI tools. I'm going to turn that off right now. And then the background is just a color card. In Premiere Pro, it's called Color Matte, and it's just these 2 colors. That's pretty basic. What's really going on in making this pop is this paper texture sequence that I have here nested into one sequence, and I will open that up, but that's what's creating this dynamic image here. So what's inside of this? So this is just every 5 frames, I change from one texture to the other. So here I had those 2 textures that I downloaded, one paper texture, here's the other. And I just am alternating between those 2. And then I'm also doing subtle zoom in and moving of these textures to make them sort of appear a bit different. But just with this, it doesn't look as interesting. It might be actually more subtle and you might like that, but this is what that looks like. And having that little subtle background is nice. It's better than just this, unless you're going for that clean look. But then I added the crumpled paper on top. And similarly, I just took one of those crumpled paper textures and I zoomed it in, I rotated it, I flipped it, I moved it around so that with each cut of the other texture, it matches up. And so we now have this going like that. And so then I nested all of these. So to do that in Premiere Pro, you select all of your clips that you want to put inside one nested sequence, right click and choose nest. And that turned it into this little green nested sequence. From there, I can move it up and put the color matte beneath it. I could add the paper texture title card on top of it. And the other thing I did was I played around with the blending modes and opacities. So this top layer of all of these crumpled paper textures, if I open up my effect controls, you can see that I changed the blend mode to multiply, and that blends the top texture with the bottom one. If this was just normal, this is what it would look like. See how it's just the paper itself? But by changing the blend mode to multiply, whoops, for that top one, it blends it with that bottom, just standard paper texture. And then back in this sequence, I told you this can get quite confusing. I changed the blend mode of that whole nested sequence to multiply again, and I dropped the opacity. And you can see I can bring up or down the opacity, and that changes the look of this. I wanted it to be a little bit more subtle. Subtlety is the key with video creation, especially with motion graphics. I find that when you just make something super subtle, it feels better. And this might be a little bit too fast, so I might just slow this down by right-clicking this nested sequence now and changing the speed. Let's go like 75. And that looks pretty good. Now, the timing of the end we need to change. But because it's just still images and still cuts, slowing this down like that, just by doing a percentage speed change, will totally work. So that is how to create a cool paper texture using AI texture images. I hope this inspires you to get out there, create things, and really it's not that hard to make your videos go from okay to looking amazing. Awesome. See you in the next lesson. In this case study, I'm going to show you how I'm using ChatGPT to help analyze my own YouTube content and give me ideas for the next video topics I should create. One of the problems I've always struggled with my particular channel is that I like to teach all kinds of things, from photography to video to marketing and business to ChatGPT and AI tools. And really focusing on one area has been my weakest point as a YouTuber, admittedly. So if I wanted to improve my YouTube channel, what I would do is try to figure out one area to focus on within my topics. And here's how I'm doing that with ChatGPT right now. I've provided a list to ChatGPT of my most popular YouTube videos that I published in the past year from most to least popular. I got this list using analytics. I'll show you how to do that on YouTube in just a second. But the first thing I did was I just asked ChatGPT to confirm that they understand that this is a list from most to least popular of my YouTube videos over the past year. Then I asked ChatGPT, based off of this list, what are the 10 most popular topics that I could make videos on? And it gave me sort of buckets of topics. So my most popular bucket is video editing tutorials, then photography tips and techniques, then Adobe software updates, Premiere Pro workflow and techniques. So even though some of these buckets kind of overlap, it's really interesting to see how ChatGPT analyzed the different topic areas and broke them down into this list: software skill development, equipment reviews and recommendations, and then down at the bottom, AI and creativity. So that's interesting because yes, it's lower on the popularity, but it's some of my most recent YouTube videos. So that might increase later on. So from here, I could simply ask, make a list of 10 video ideas for that first topic. So say I say, okay, I know this is the most popular topic area that I create content on. What are 10 ideas for video editing tutorials? And it came up with a great list of 10 ideas. So that's one simple way to get ideas based off of a little bit more in-depth analysis rather than just simply saying, all right, ChatGPT, give me 10 YouTube ideas on XYZ topic that I'm interested in, which is another way and perfectly fine to do as well. Here's a different list that I provided though, which I think is even more interesting, similar but more interesting. Here's a list of my YouTube videos ranked from most to least successful in getting new subscribers. And again, this is from a list from the past year. So I didn't do all 10 plus years of my YouTube history, but really looking at the past year helps me understand, because this is topics that I'm currently interested in creating content about. I'm not interested in some of the topics that I published 5-10 years ago. I have a video on how baseball works. That's actually my most popular video right now, but I'm not going to be creating a channel about baseball. That was a mistake in my part by creating content on all kinds of things. It worked to my benefit because it drives traffic. There's some people that subscribe. I make money from that YouTube video. But in terms of having one really strong topic for my channel, that doesn't help. So anyways, ChatGPT understands that this is a list of my videos from the past year that have converted. These are videos not just from the past year, but these are the ones that have converted the most subscribers in the past year in order. I then asked, again, what are the most popular topics that convert viewers to subscribers for my channel based on this list? And again, it came up with this list, but it's a little bit different. Still, it has video editing tutorials at the top. Then it has software tips and techniques, photography education, animation techniques is up there higher. And that's something that I know, even though I don't put it out as many After Effects tutorials, these videos consistently do better than some of my other videos, like my equipment reviews and recommendations. What's not on this list yet is that AI topic, but it came up with a couple other ones like graphic design and illustration. Now we have this analysis from two sides, just my most popular videos and then also videos that convert to subscribers. And video editing is still that top topic. So if I wanted to focus on one topic that will grow my YouTube channel based off of past success, it's on video editing. And so I asked, what are 10 popular video ideas for video editing tutorials? And so it came up with this list, which is similar to that previous list that it came up with. That list was using ChatGPT 3.5. I wanted to use the browser option with the web browsing option, so I copied that list into a new chat. So I have this list again, video editing tutorials, software tips. You saw this just a second ago. I asked it if it understood what this was. And I asked, based off these topics, what are to reorder this list into the most to least trending topic area. So this is taking that analysis to the next level. So using current browsing, internet web browsing data, it found that, again, video editing tutorials, top. Then photography education, which was a little bit lower on the other one. Animation techniques is even higher on this list. And then it continues to go down, down, down. I asked it here to come up with 10 trending video editing tutorial ideas. And these ideas are more specific and more trending, more modern. So creating and editing short form video content, vertical video editing, live video editing, AI-powered video editing, inclusive video editing for metaverse realities, simplicity in video editing. Some of these, I feel like it's taking just general trending topics and combining it with video editing, which I'm not really sure is the right way to go about it. And so I asked it to recreate this list with more specific ideas. So here I have short form video editing for social media, mastering vertical video editing for mobile consumption, editing techniques for live streaming videos. Still similar, but a little bit more specific in the topic and the title of the video. So I took this first one and I wanted to dive deeper. What are 5 unique video tutorial ideas for this topic? This first one, creating and editing short form video content. And here it came up with what now I consider are actual video tutorial topics that I might use. Mastering the art of the transition, typography in motion, engaging text overlays in short form videos, sound design for short form videos, making every second count, etc., etc. And then I even broke it down even more because that first one, mastering the art of the transition, you could create dozens of tutorials on that. And so I asked, what are 5 different types of video transitions related to this topic? Instead of just asking what are 5 ideas for videos about this topic, I knew what it should be going for. Different video transitions. Each tutorial could be a different transition. So I asked that, what are 5 types of video transitions that can be particularly effective for short form content? Cut, on action, match cut, jump cut, cross dissolve, wipe. Very similar to general transitions, but still diving deeper and deeper with the analysis to help me understand what my next YouTube videos can be. So this really helps me to understand where my channel is and where I should take it from here. Let me head over to YouTube and just quickly show you how you can get those lists that I was able to copy and paste here. All right, so here I'm on the general analytics page. If I just click on views and see more, it takes me to a page with my most popular videos. And so from here, I can change the date. So I did the last 365 days, which is the past year. And then here it provides a list from most views to least views of my most popular videos. It has this one up here, which includes ad views. So I'm not going to include that. But what I can do is click this little export current view button, click Google Sheets, and it will actually open up this list in this chart with the views. And here's another way you can get your title. So if you watch the case study on how to get all of the titles from your YouTube channel, that is one way, but you could also do it this way if you have fewer than 500 videos, which probably many people have fewer than 500 videos. You just have to order it in the date, which you could actually reorder here, which is pretty cool. So actually I just figured out a better way, potentially an easier way for your own channel to get the list of titles. But now we have it ordered in most views. You could even change the order for any of these other metrics here. So we have subscribers. So I can right click this, sort sheet A to Z. I believe that should work, or actually it would be Z to A for most subscribers. So now we have that list of videos from top to most to least subscribers. So let me fix this up just a little bit. So we have 221 subscribers for this video. Again, that's my baseball video, which I don't really care about, so I'm gonna not include that. But now we have here, starting with how to export an MP4 file from After Effects down to whatever. I found that there's definitely a limit, so I only included 100 videos, which I think is like enough data. Some of these videos, once I get past 100, it's only driving 8 subscribers, 7 subscribers or less in the past year. So that's how you can do that. If you want, you can go back to YouTube though and change these metrics. So here I have in the past 365 days, most views, but say I want to know my most recent content. So let's go and say filter by publish date, and let's go videos published since January 2021 to the current date. And now we have a new list of my most popular videos that are recent videos. And this might be better data to use based off of the topics you're currently creating videos on. So that is one way that I'm using ChatGPT to come up with my next video topics. I know this was in-depth and sort of analytical, but hopefully it gives you some ideas of how you can also use ChatGPT to improve the video topics you're making videos about. Awesome. See you in another lesson.